Well, P Street Garage here. I'm back out on my Mercury Comet, and I think I'd like to address this steering wheel. This steering wheel is absolutely trashed. Steering wheels are very expensive. So what I was thinking, I've had different thoughts of maybe trying to rip all this plastic off, maybe repaint the wheel, or maybe try to find a cover for it. I'm just thinking out loud right now. I do want to address this wheel. I do have a newer center horn button, and the horn does work on this car. So that's the button that goes here. I do have a much nicer one that I'm going to put on. But what I want to do now is I want to try to take this wheel off, and I also got to get at the mechanism in here because my turn signal mechanism is all stripped in there. So I think once I get this wheel off, hopefully I can get it off, I'll be able to get in here and try to sort out what's wrong with these signal lights, because I can't, it kind of clicks on one side but not on the other. So let's see if we can get this nut off, try to pull this wheel off, see what this all entails. All right. Okay, so I got my nut loosened off. That was quite easy. I tried banging on the wheel a bit and nothing came at all. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try the hammer. Try to give a couple taps of the hammer here. Hopefully that'll loosen it off. If it doesn't, I've got bits and pieces here of an old puller. I don't even know how that would go now. Been a while since I used a puller, but anyway, there's a small bits and pieces to a puller kit. I will try with the hammer first, and if that doesn't work, we'll try the puller. Let's get this wheel off. Okay, well, a couple of taps and it came loose. I actually just put my knee on one side. It's a good little tip. An old steering wheel like this is all metal. I just tapped on it back here, and the whole thing popped off. So there it is. There's the wheel. So we'll go out and see. Maybe if we can find a cover. Maybe we'll do something with that. Oh, now this is oh shit. This is scary. Oh, I've had stuff like this apart before. Oh yeah, look at that. Oh my. Well. Oh. Seems to be kind of working now. Just needed, okay. Needed to be hit a couple times. Anyway, I did order a piece for the turn signal. That's in my stash somewhere. I'm gonna dig that out. I don't even know how this comes out, and there's a lot of little intricate pieces that are scaring me right now, but there's a spring here. Okay, yeah, I've seen this before. Alright, beauty about filming is that I can always go back and see what I was doing or what I was messing up. Now, why is this clicking right now when it wasn't before? And I think my stock is also stripped here, so we're not out of the woods just yet. So, do I make this all one video or just... not sure yet. I'll just keep plugging away. See what this entails. And I'll dig out that part that I ordered last year. See if this makes any sense. And little pins here probably got to be popped out. Little tiny little circlips. Oh my. Okay. Let's see. This is the part I got from Eckler's about a year and a half ago. And it's all to do with the turn signals. I think that sits in here like this somewhere. Now the wires are awful long. I wonder if they go all the way down. They probably go all the way down the tube here. Anyway, my problem right now is I'm kind of scared, and I don't know how to take this apart. This must be the horn button. Yeah, that's the horn button. There's a couple little springs. I don't know if I'm supposed to take these springs off first or take this little circlips. I'm tempted to take off this little circlips. Maybe everything will just pull off in one unit if I take this off. I just got to make sure I don't lose it. And even with this new piece, that's not going to solve the dilemma of my stock that's stripped here. So, oh, I don't know. I think I'll start with this circlips here. Try to pull this off. And I don't know how this is fastened. This might all just come off. And I see a Phillips screw there, so maybe... Oh, wait a minute. Is there one or two? There's so much grime in there. Maybe I'll try this Phillips screw. Maybe then this whole thing will pop off. Anyway, between that Phillips screw and this C-clip, I should be able to get this mechanism off. I want to be able to see inside there what's going on with this. And I need to figure out how these get snaked down there. This might be a bigger job than I thought. Well, I knew it was going to be a big job, but it's just one of those things. It's just, this is not that fun, but let's dive into this, see if we can figure something out. Okay, well, excuse the lighting, but the good news is I got this ring off, and it's quite easy. All I had to do was pop off that little circlips, and there's a spring behind it, and that mounts on this plastic thing that goes up and down like this. Very easy. So basically this is this. So I went and bought this thinking that my stock problem would be this thing, but as it turns out, this little ring here, this is the hole. This is the hole where the stock for the turn signal goes in. And I don't know if I can position this. Mine is completely stripped, as in I can push this straight through. There's no there's nothing. So I either need one of these rings, or I can try tapping this. I can try fiddling and tapping them with this hole there so this thing will grab, but essentially that just pushes in, and it's actually a little simpler than I thought. It's just that now this is buggered up. So is it worth pulling all this out? I don't even think there's anything wrong with this. So if I pull all this out, it means I got to snake all these wires. I got to figure out where these wires come out, because if it's all the way, it must come out in the side somewhere here. But I mean, that's going to be a can of worms. How are you supposed to do that? Oh, anyway. Maybe I'll loosen these off and just see what's involved. Obviously, there's a cluster of wires down there that comes out, and that's what goes to all these turn signals and lights. But I think my biggest issue right now, I mean, unless this was defective, it could be. I have it. I may as well replace it. Let's let's move on, see what's involved with this now. Okay, I'm going a little bit deeper even still. There's two nuts here that I took off, and still there was no movement. So then I pulled, I removed the horn wire, and it's all to do with getting access to this cluster of wires that goes way down there. So I better film this, because reverse order could be tricky. I got a bit of a collar here. I thought it might have been a C-clips, but there was no way to grab it, so looks more like some type of a collar. Let's pull this off. Okay, now I'm starting to get, now I got stuff everywhere. But anyway, I can use this video as a reference. I got this collar here. Now, will this come off now? And there's something I'm really not familiar with on this type of car. This originally would have had a standard transmission with a column shift, and that's what I'm getting into now. I don't really want any of that because I'm going floor shifter, although I do need to replace this. I have a newer one for that. But anyway, what I want to do is I need to get this ring off so I don't think I'm in the clear yet. So that collar is out. What is this ring here? If I can pull this ring out, I want to get this free, and I don't see any other fasteners. And I got to go delicate because I do want to reinstall all this stuff and try to make it work. So, what does this entail? What is this? Is there a course, I did no research on this. I just, you know what? There's going to be a bearing in there. I bet you that's a bearing. And I don't want to mess this up because I worked on my steering column on my Corvette. I worked on that bearing and that was an absolute pain in the butt. Is there any way of getting this out without destroying everything? And I don't think there's any way of pulling these wires out. I don't know how this is snaked in there. I can't even really see. There it is there. I just want to get this wire out. And of course, I don't want the horn wire. I just want this. I just want this cluster of wire. I don't know, maybe if I went down below and disconnected everything, I would just pull out. But then how would I snake all this in there? It looks like a real can of worms. Okay, I'm gonna keep investigating. Okay, so I got I pulled the old wiring harness out. I got the old one out. Here's the new one. The colors do kind of match. I mean, the old ones are a lot more faded. The colors are slightly different, but should be able to find them underneath and plug them in. Now the hard part, I was able to isolate, there's one wire for the horn that stays there, and you can see it moving down there. That's the horn wire. Now the hard part, and I don't know how you're supposed to do this, is you gotta snake this harness all the way down here and make it pop out. There's a little hole there where these wires pop out. I don't think that's going to be easy at all, but I'm going to try. I'm committed now. I got everything disconnected, and as it turns out, there was one wire. One of these green ones was hooked up, and but this led to nothing. So I'm going to have to investigate my wiring harness. See, these are all, gosh, these are all crackled and chipped. But anyway, I don't know where those go. But for now, the big dilemma now is going to be to snake this down. I'll probably have to tape this up. I'll snake it down this channel. Hopefully I can. I might have to drop this column again. But anyway, I'm going to try to snake these down, make them pop up down here, and make the connections, and at least I'll have a nice new device here. I noticed the cams on the old one, you know, after the 60 years are quite worn as compared to these ones, so the humps are more pronounced on this one, is what I'm trying to say. So I'm hoping that will make the mechanism feel a little bit better. Yeah, this was a little bit rough, but anyway, probably not a thing wrong with this. I've kind of opened a can of worms here, and I gotta keep moving. I gotta get this installed. Okay, well, I had a couple of tense moments, but I got the new wire snaked down that skinny little tube. And what I did is I did it in two separate clusters that I wrapped in electrical tape, and there's the two clusters that came out. There's the two of them there. I don't know how I managed to do that, but gosh, I'm happy it's in. And the little wire for the horn, that also still living. So now, in reverse order, I'm going to attempt to, excuse this bad filming, I'm going to attempt to put all this back together, this back in. I'm going to have to play with this, either try to squeeze this so the stock will take, or maybe make a new stock with a bigger long bolt or something. I'm not sure. I'm going to have to fiddle with that. I'm going to plug away a little bit at this, try to get these reconnected, and yeah, let's see how we go. Okay, well, I was wrong about one thing. Yes, this will work, but I'm no further ahead than I was, in all honesty. And the problem is, I wasn't sure how this was all working. This threaded end of the stock does go into the hole of this cam arrangement. So let's take this back out, and we're going to go to plan B. Okay, and plan B is this. The threaded part of the stock does thread in to this piece. I thought it went straight through and threaded in further, but it does not. And this is all flopsy. So I think what I'm going to have to do, I'm going to have to either rebuild this or retap and maybe weld a bolt on here. Let's bring this to the shop and see if I can rig something up to make this work. I think if I can get this solid into here, it's going to work. All right. Okay, so let's finish up this turn signal project. So what I went and did is I took my existing piece, and this was completely stripped out. So I drilled and tapped this out to a bigger size. There's not a lot of meat left on that metal, but enough to hold on. And then I took my existing turn stock, I welded a fatter bolt onto it, and I ground it down and repainted it. So this will now thread into here. So that's what's going to make, so this is how I'm going to fix my turn signal stock. My friend Michael from Florida, he sent me all this arrangement. He even painted the turn stock yellow to match my car, but unfortunately his car is a 63. So as you can see, everything is completely different. So this does not fit at all. I would have used this in a heartbeat. It does not fit. Nothing lines up. So I'm going to give this back to him, and I'm going to throw this in the car. So let's get that done. Okay, got my mechanism back together. There's our signal lights. Oh, wow. Let's go look at the back. I can see them in the front flashing. Let's look at the back, see if we got signal lights. Ah, first time in years and years and years we got some signal lights. Let's try the other side. And the other side works also. Okay. We got some signal lights. Let's get that steering wheel back on. I did a little work on that one. Okay, well, here's my old steering wheel. I took a hammer and I beat off all the old plastic that was left around, or the Bakelite, whatever you call it. I'm having ideas now of maybe just giving this a coat of paint. I think I'm going to try to paint this. I said I've been able to find a wheel. Steering wheel covers are about, I think it's 16 inches. This wheel is about 17, and the big truck steering wheels are 18. Anyway, I did my numbers might be off a little bit, but basically steering wheel covers do not really work, or I haven't found one to fit. So for now, I think I'm going to take this apart, and I got some flat black or satin black. I'm going to give this a coat of paint. See what it looks like. Alright. Okay, well, here was my idea for the steering wheel. I just painted the steel with this satin black. I took the horn ring off, cleaned that all up, and the original hand grips that were sandwiched between the plastic I left, and I painted it in the yellow. You know, it's not fantastic, but it's gonna suit the car. And like I said, steering wheels are expensive, so this was kind of a good solution, I think, for now. Anyway, well, that's my idea. I'm gonna pop this back on. All right. Here's my wheel back in place with my new center horn button. Looks good.